Hookers on the streets are easily gathered like prey being stalked for one thing in mind, and that one thing can change things forever. A beautiful tall Asian and a client are in bed, rolling around, wrinkling the sheets, her black bra barely covering her nipple, the man ripping off her panties, not knowing his life's at stake. Her black leggings are still on during this sexual act. She moans with pleasure. "Take it, bitch!" In the mouth. Suzumo willingly obeys. She gets on top of him, fucking him cowgirl style. She continues moaning. "Come on, more!" She continues, her breasts bouncing in the air, going until he can take no more. She stops. "Come on, bitch, more!" Suzumo angrily grabs a pillow. "Stop calling me bitch." She puts the pillow over his face, grabs the gun in her stocking, and shoots the client's face. Voiceover. My body has been defeated, but no one can take away my soul. What I contribute will have a lasting effect. Be it negative or positive, I care no less. My mission has yet to be complete. I do what I was sent to do. Most will never know me. Some will die knowing there is hope out there. There is hope for your children, and your children's children. But with any promise, it doesn't come without sacrifice. 40 lashes won't peel the flesh off the bone. There is a dawn of dynasty on the third day. But that dawn of dynasty that I promise you can only come if you drastically change your ways. Religion or reality, can you take the 40 lashes taken for you? Open your eyes. Look around. I can see what many can't see. A chaotic world. A world begging to be restarted. And only you can choose the path it takes. All the war and famine for the most ridiculous reasons. Our ethnic and cultural differences. We are all one body, one whole, one purpose. We must learn to respect our brother, our sister, no matter what cultural difference that faces us and threatens us. Consume the threat, for it is wicked. Facing the ones that threaten me can only set an example. The blood that is shed I take with pride. Knowing there is hope can only keep me fighting. Fighting for the good of all. That's what I've been chosen to do. But I can't take all the credit. My army is growing. Should one decide to join my army, the doors are open for anyone willing to sacrifice. I don't take prisoners of the good life. Fearsome Flyer's swords slice the iconic FF, 2 slices vertically, 2 horizontally. They catch on flames as the shot gets less tight. A circle around the letters is engulfed in flames. When we are drawn further, the circle makes the rear wheel of a manual wheelchair. The front wheel is also engulfed in flames. Then lettering appears. The Inferno. The day is sunny, not a cloud in the sky. Typical weather for South Huntington Beach. Robert Nolan is finding it hard to cope with his situation. Luckily, his good friend, Marshall Goyer, visits him regularly. Having to use a power chair to get around makes him an excellent mentor. I don't get it. Why'd she do it? Why me, man? What did I do? Stop asking why. It ain't gonna get you nowhere. Start asking how. How can you use what you have to your advantage? You know, it don't make sense, but when you say it, it does. Don't underestimate the overachiever. You know, there's a lot I can learn from you. Yeah. Now that you're in my situation. No, really. There's so much people take for granted. How do you do it? One day, I promise, I'll let you know. Negativity is felt in the room once the doctor steps in. Focusing on the positive has always been a hardship for the medical field. I'm afraid I have bad news for you, Robert. Your torso was severed in the lower vertebrae. He puts up an x-ray. The T5 here and T6 here have been dramatically traumatized with very little chance of not being permanently paralyzed. The paralysis of the lower body is not irreversible. Only time will tell about your progress. I don't get it. So I'm screwed? no matter what I do? The options are, you can try physical therapy, but nothing is guaranteed. Or you can work with what you have. You mean accept it? How could I? Everything I do is so hard. You know I don't want this life. He turns to Marshall. There has to be something we can do. Come on, man. The doctor is interrupted by a nurse, and both leave the room. Both Robert and Marshall confront each other about the current situation. I wish this never happened. Wishing can't change anything. I don't know. Maybe it'd be better if I just gave up. You can't give up. If you do, there is no chance of getting better. Accept yourself. You're great the way you are. If you accept yourself, nothing will limit you. You make it sound so easy. It's never easy. I speak from years of experience. If I didn't have you as a friend, I'd never be able to deal with this. Given this reveals the truth. What do you mean? I see fine. But the truth is hidden. You have to see things at a different perspective to see it. So, what's the next step? Rehab. A therapist starts stretching out Robert's tight legs. He lay across a raised mat while the therapist stretches out his hamstrings. Then, he is strapped to a table that inverts 90 degrees. He is assisted to walk and balance in a therapeutic pool. He tests his strength and capability to use the parallel bars. For lunch break, he is pushed to the cafeteria. After lunch, he watches, reads magazines, and watches the clock. After break, it's back to physical therapy. The rigorous stretches cause pain he must be willing to take. The inverting table helps his leg muscles. Then it's time for a dip in the pool. He feels refreshed after a hard day's work. Finally, he attempts the parallel bars, determined to carry his own weight. Physical therapy is over for the day. A wonderful tool of achievement, but sadly limited by insurance. Goals are set and easily met in the beginning, but therapists like to call the loss of new unused ideas a plateau. Slow improvements, if any. Insurance only covers therapy if goals continue to be met. A hard day's work is about to end. Cafeteria dinner trays are being passed out, while Robert and Marshall hang out in his room. After dinner is over, Robert and Marshall watch TV together. Getting better is tiring. How come you're always in a good mood? To be honest with you, I'm not. I only choose to show what many mistake as a good mood, when in fact, I'm pissed. I'm pissed at the world around me. That's what makes me a fighter. Robert, get pissed. If that's the only advice I could give you, that would be it. That would explain why you've never given up. Yeah, but you've got to promise me you'll do the same. Okay, man, I promise. Just keep going. Let nothing stop you. You'll hear you can't many times, when in fact you can. Take the word can't out of your dictionary. Show 'em. Show 'em what you're made of. The door opens. I'm sorry, visiting hours are over. Well, I'll stop by tomorrow. Try to get some rest. Marshall. What? Thanks. TheJeckle is preparing to revive Dr. Johnson, head of Psycor, with a lethal cyanide injection to lower his blood pressure. But the smack magic will stay in the system. He fills the needle with cyanide acid, walks to the motionless man, and injects the serum. However, the revived man is not the same, sweating and twitching, the skin pulsating. All in good time. Dr. Psycho will be the superpower of this city, you being his slave. As for me, what I say you will obey. So what I say goes. Is that clear? Johnson nods, salivating. Good. Starts walking away, and turns. Dinner's waiting, heckled Jekyll. TheJeckle leaves the room and shuts the door behind him. The beast of a man looks at the counter. Fresh, uncooked meat lie there. From where it comes from, the partly severed human leg, many tell. The monster eats as if somebody were to be taking it away. TheJeckle reports to Dr. Psycho about the results of the injection. He shuts the door. "You came to tell me something?" "He's alive. The prisoner has awakened in results of the injection. I need you to train him. Make him one of the assassins." "Assassin or not, he's a killer. He feeds on the rotting carcasses of our victims." "You fool. I don't care if he devours our prey. He may leak our presence to the public. I can't afford that happening. Brainwash him, like the rest of them. The ninja way must be concealed in the shadows." "I understand. He will be trained, and he will make an excellent addition to our army. You speak the power of the ninja so well that it disturbs my soul. Soon he will be the chameleon, and he too will hide in the shadows. I'm sure I will meet the prisoner whom you speak so highly of. Go now. You have work to do." Now what surrounds the chameleon are pools of blood, with small scraps of meat and severed bones. Looking at the man, one can tell he had just finished a bloody feast, his mouth covered in blood, dripping chops with the stench of decaying corpses, his hands covered in blood, as the newfound meat lover starts having flashbacks of the MG-NZN project. The metallic green military armor stole by Dr. Psycho and his team resurfaces in his mind. "Ladies, gentlemen, the MG-NZN prototype is about to be revealed. We ask that no flash photography or recording devices be used. Mr. Stark couldn't make it today, but with a marvelous partnership, I'm proud to introduce the head of Psycor, Dr. Dick Johnson." The crowd applauds Dr. Johnson's arrival to the project. Also, nearby, the first Phantom team of assassins load their weapons. This sheet beside me covers tomorrow's future in military defense weaponry. I only wish this day had come sooner. With the collaboration of technology we have unlocked, the key to aeronautics. Behold, I give you the MG-NZN. The curtain falls to a bulky metal chunk of armor. Nearby, the Phantom team hurries to find their place for the assassination. Applause and bewilderment is the only focus of the forum, and not what's happening around them. With combined technology, this indestructible weapons system can not only increase land maneuverability, it can climb altitude and comb the ocean floors. No sonar, radar, or any tracking device can locate and follow anyone wearing an MG-NZN. The bodyguard can withstand heat, pressure, massive amounts of firepower. One Phantom aims for the unlucky man behind the microphone. Everything is silenced. Focusing purely on the gunman, he pulls the trigger, and blood blossoms from Dr. Johnson's death-inflicting wound. He falls lifeless. Sound is restored, and more firing follows. Returning to reality, the zombie-like man yells, and he smashes the metal X-ray table. TheJeckle enters the bloody room, which is filled with an eerie silence. All that is heard is the dead panting of an exhausted creature. The door creaks closed, and a little later the silence is interrupted by a firm grip of the chameleon's shoulders. "Relax, you're in good hands, and have a new family now, a new beginning." Walks in front. Returning to your old family would only frighten them. They don't want to see the monster you've become. They want to see a nice-looking man, and that you no longer are. But ungrasp the past. To hell with it. You're here now. Make it for the best. Walks to his side to whisper. "You don't want us to hurt your family, do you?" He yells. "Good. Obviously you can understand me. The fierce anxiety behind that reached face of yours. I sense it's willing for acceptance. Accept this. Once a deadly assassin, always an assassin. We are your friends. Fearsome Flyer is the villain." TheJeckle takes time to get to know the chameleon, asking him questions to learn more about him and what he did, taking interest in his role regarding MG-NZN. Now it's your turn, chameleon. Tell me, what do you want to know? Is it true what you say? Am I a monster? On the outside, but within, you're a man who wants to get even with the world for all his mistreatment in his life, calling you things that you weren't. Are you sick of being told you can't do it? Well, guess what? Now you can. And we're here to make it possible. He roars. Do I have your commitment? A chameleon blends into its surroundings, much like a ninja. Puts hand on shoulder. It is your decision to take the name, chameleon. The decision has been made. Who do I assassinate for? Dr. Psycho. Young Susimo's father and her are at the table near a shrine, engulfed in the forest, eating rice and egg rolls. Her father, hoping to start a conversation, speaks the native tongue of Japanese to the shy but curious child. This is the preservation of our past. Before the world grew angry, now we can only look towards the future. The world was so calm and peaceful long ago. There was nothing to worry about. That's when I met your mother. But that was so long ago, child. As beautiful as she was, the past took her from me. Shots of her mother. Long ago, I served in the military. I never expected the first year to be my last. But before, when the Koreans were won, I was stationed there. My honor turned into denial as I learned why we were there. There she was, something to distract me. Your mother glistened in the morning air. Never did I expect the greatest reward to come from it. You, Susimo Yokosaki, your name, meaning night-born beauty, was given by your mother, and reminds me of her every day. Back to reality. These times are no longer good now. You see, Susimo, we are poor. Times are no longer good and have forced great consequences. I can no longer afford to send you to private school. But I like my school. All my friends are there. You will make new friends. But father, don't but me. The decision is made. Isn't there some way to get the money? I'll think about it. Tomorrow I will reach my decision. Young Susimo eagerly awaits her father as she eats her breakfast pudding and is dressed in her uniform, anxiously waiting to go to school. Her father appears. Father, good morning. She hugs him, but hesitates, eye contact. Good morning, child. Have you thought how I can stay in school? There are things in this world that a child is not supposed to do. I know everything. My science, my arithmetic. Not that. I know you're a bright girl. When I met your mother, we got very close. When you get very close, you begin to touch, even what you're not supposed to. But times have changed. Now people are getting too close almost too often. The art of love has turned into a science. I don't understand. This is not meant for you to understand. The profit of love will pay your education. Father, no! This is my final decision. Go to school. But know when you have come home, there is work to do. The demanding curriculum requires all students to communicate to each other in their second language of English. But Susimo hesitates to respond because she is frightened and too busy thinking of what she learned. Did you hear the news? What news? That he in love with Akane. Him? And strange round girls? Must be a joke. No joke. He say they went out after school. Where? Big restaurant. Susimo overhears and becomes agitated. They continue. Round girl with pigtails. Maybe he should marry Akane. They can have piglets. Susimo storms off, trying to hold in the tears. One of her girlfriends comes over to Susimo to see what's wrong. What seems to be bothering you? She shrugs away. I don't want to talk about it. It's always better to talk to someone. About what? about personal problems? I think I can handle this on my own. Alright, I'm only trying to help. Thanks, but I'm a big girl. I think I can handle it on my own. If you need to talk, I'm always here. Thanks. I honor and respect your friendship. Katsuo approaches Akami. What is going on with Suzimo? I don't know. It is as if she is hiding something. Hiding something inside is often not good. What should I do? I cannot force her to do anything. No, but you can be a good friend. Be there for her. I try to tame the lion, but the beast flourishes throughout her. It is not that I see inside her, but what I see disturbs our inner connection. The inner connection is something meditation cannot give you. It's what is in harmony that fulfills the spirit. I will continue to comfort her, though I am sure it will do no good. Be there for a friend is a good start. Okay, I will consider your advice by being there if she needs me. Marshall enters the hospital room. How's it going, man? Flipping through some channels. Great. I feel like a king here. You can get whatever you need. Stuffing his face. They even have halfway decent food. I'm glad you're forgetting about your problems. Problems? He takes a bite. Who needs problems when all you need are solutions? I take it you're taking my advice. Sips his drink. Yeah, I'm so glad to have a friend like you. I probably would have given up a long time ago if it wasn't for you. Have you ever met your roommate? Roommate? I have a roommate? Yeah, behind the curtain. And all this time I thought I was alone. No, often in hospitals you're lucky to get your own room. The scene shifts to Robert's roommate. She is about Robert's age. Pulls open the dividing curtain. Hi, I'm Marshall, and this is Robert. What's your name? Cynthia. Cynthia Clark. I'm trying to help my friend cope with his new disability. I know how that is. You do? Sure. My disability happened over this past summer. We were on a family vacation, the worst family vacation. Why? What happened? If you must know, my parents were murdered. We had planned a vacation across the border when we learned there really are no boundaries. Walls and fences can go up, but that doesn't conceal the soul. We wanted to escape the unsafe city, but our worries followed us. I'm sorry to hear that. Don't be. It happens when you stay at a hotel that no one tells you is a favorite spot for phantoms. It was horrible though, especially after being torched alive in a hotel room set on fire. They tied me to a bed, my arms and legs to the bedpost. I couldn't move. All I could do was watch as they poured gasoline everywhere. I felt time stop when one of them dropped the lit cigarette. My limbs were badly burnt. They didn't know if I would make it. The doctors had to amputate all 4 of my limbs in order for me to survive. What about your parents? After being rescued, I saw them. They were lying face down in the pool. The water was as red as blood. They must have died execution style, and their bodies pushed into the pool from the balcony. Such a hideous story. Such a sad tale. Once a girl that young should not have to go through. Such a traumatic incident would leave a permanent scar on the soul. Robert, tell her about yourself. Hi, I'm Robert Nolan, motioning to Marshall. We've been friends. What, since elementary school? He says I'm different. I've always seen beyond the disability. He's a friend, not a disabled friend. Then how'd you end up like this? Luck. Don't you mean bad luck? Of course not. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. With a friend like this? Marshall, you can't go wrong. This is a gift. I can finally understand what he goes through daily. Sure, it's hard, but we're not the thing that must conform. The world was designed for a walking man. Slowly the world is noticing their flaw, and understanding the world must conform to us. You have a good attitude. It wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Marshall. By day, South Huntington Beach is a tamed beast. By night, the beast runs wild. Hoodlum hovers atop a hospital building, electrical currents dancing around her hood. Nobody can stop me. Not Fearsome Flyer, not Dr. Psycho, nobody. At last, I'm unstoppable, indestructible. No one can return what was taken from me. She points at some parked cars and lists them with her mind. I'll never forget my parents. She pinches her fingers together, and the cars smash together. I'll never forget my childhood. Instantly opens her fist, and the sheet metal disperses through the streets. Both taken from me, friend or foe, I assure you, you're always a foe. She throws some ninja stars towards the building, after levitating a distance above the parking lot. All of a sudden the ninja stars are blocked by an electrical sword. Another sword blocks more ninja stars from entering the building. Entering the scene is Fearsome Flyer. Stop interfering with my plans! Your plans are nothing but twisted lies. You have chosen not to defeat the demon within you. Doing what's wrong and not what's right proves that you're a coward. I'll show you who's a coward. She focuses on a nearby construction site, using her telepathic abilities to shear the screws holding some beams in place. The beams race toward Fearsome Flyer. He dodges the impact. Demons are a fancy name for fear. It's fear you must conquer. She clasps her hands together and the beams try to form a cage around Fearsome Flyer. Nobody hold the power to rid the demons of my dark soul. He dodges the metallic chomping ball. One can't change the past, but if you still had a clean soul, would your parents approve this? She calms down and the fight ends. The metal beams crash to the ground. Near North Huntington Beach, a calamity of chaos of its own is festering from the skies. Electric Blaze begins her deadly attack on the defenseless city, forming fireballs that get thrown, hit, and explode on parked cars. Feeling great pleasure with the terror she objects to stop. Electrical voltage dances around the dangerous villain. Within seconds, the magnitude of the electrical technology has risen high enough to release on the city. Razor-thin lightning bolts fired from the menace fill the streets. Try to stop me. The only one who stands a chance is miles away. She throws more fireballs, damaging nearby buildings. More electricity is randomly dispersed. Targets explode, and the once peaceful city goes into chaos. All I have been trained for was revenge, and revenge is what you're gonna get. Suddenly spotlights go on. Sirens glare. This is the police. We do not want to use full force on the city. Cease fire and we will negotiate on your terms. She turns to the voice and throws a fireball at the vehicle. The roof explodes, and out from a SWAT vehicle comes a SWAT team ready for battle. Some other cops start firing at the enemy. She returns electrical voltage, and the SWAT team begins to use heavy arms. Dr. Psycho behind a desk, looking out the window at the corruption Electric Blaze has created. Excellent. My reign has spread. Soon the world will be in my hands. He turns to TheJeckle. And I have you to rally my troops. Come up with a good plan, my friend, to hold the innocent hostage. Or else. Or else what? He lights a cigar, takes a puff. You don't want to end up being chopped into pieces and used as bait for our friend. I will lead the ninja assassins in your ways, making every drop of blood they shed count. As for the phantoms, there is no control over them, only guidance. He begins walking towards the man. You know, they could cost you your life, but they won't. I provide them with what they need to survive. All the drugs the body can consume. I won't let you down. Have I failed you yet? I don't intend on doing it anytime soon. That's what I want to hear. He pats his shoulder. A dedicated man with the thirst for agony. Go check on the chameleon. Maybe it's time to see what he's capable of. The half-finger cut gloves from TheJeckle are seen releasing the locks on the door. Raw meat is scattered everywhere. Trails of blood are smeared across the floor. The ceiling is dripping with a red syrup. The aroma of the room is grotesque. Where are you? An image comes out of the shadows. Dr. Psycho has plans for you. What were you doing? Thinking of my family? Don't waste your time, fool. We're your family now. We want to make you one of us. We have decided we want to train you. We want to help you. You can never help me, and you will never replace my family. He charges TheJeckle and grabs his shoulder, the grip almost dislocating his shoulder. Like an animal, he races through the open door. By instinct, TheJeckle pulls the alarm. Armed ninja assassins are alerted of the escaped convict. On the phone. What's all the noise about? On the cell. The chameleon. He's escaped. On the phone. Get him to me by any means necessary. You hear me? Any means necessary. On the cell. Sir. Yes, sir. He switches radio waves. All assassins, escaped man like animal, must be held and contained by any means necessary. At first, the chameleon runs on all fours, in plain sight. Assassins fire guns at the beast. The bullets seem to have no effect, and bounce off his skin. The chameleon lets out a loud roar of anger. An assassin signals for more firepower. A ninja assassin responds by using a flamethrower on the forthcoming beast. The chameleon is barely affected, and mauls the man's head. The beast begins making the chase harder. He springs onto warehouse shelving. He runs sideways, gripping the shelving, as bullets continue to be fired. The chameleon jumps over aisles. Then an assassin blocks the warehouse entrance. He slows down, focuses on the door. The chameleon disappears by hiding in the shadows. Holding multiple amounts of firepower, the ninja assassin signals for backup. More assassins stand in front of each other in front of the only way out. The chameleon reappears and begins his race towards the exit. Every assassin begins shooting rounds of their weapons at the beast. It mauls the first assassin's chest, followed by ripping the arm off the other. Blood flies everywhere as the shooting continues. The animal continues to slowly make his way to the door. The men put up a fight, but nothing can outlast the bloodthirsty beast. TheJeckle notices this from afar and takes action by drawing his 8mm. The sound of the shot fills the air. The bullet is followed, and it races by mutilated assassins and the shoulders of the others still standing. Just before he makes his escape, the bullet finally pierces the chameleon's chest. They run becomes a limp, and as he limps, he falls down and is recaptured. The fear in Susie Mo's eyes are hidden as she looks downward in respect to her teacher. He scolds, "Susie Mo, late. In this school we resent the late. You're wasting our time. Time is money. What would your parents say if they knew? They pay for your education. Money is time. What do you have to say for yourself?" She stands there, looking down, with a tear in her eye. "I'm talking to you, Susie Mo. Are any of my other students late? No. No. They know the importance of education. You do not. Go to the principal's office." He points to the door. "No." "No? It's not my fault. Then whose fault is it?" "My father." "Your father? Listen to you. No one would believe you. Go." Crying. "But it's true." "True it may be, but your education should come first. Go." Bawling. "No." "Now." Bawling. Her memories haunt her, as a flashback of the night before is seen. In the dark storm, filled with lightning and thunder, Susie Mo's father grabs her by the hand. He yanks the fighting girl out of the car. "Father! No, father! No! You must, Susie Mo. Don't do it for me. Do it for your education." Now grabbing her by the shoulder, he guides her to her fate. They arrive up a few steps to a back door. Susie Mo's father knocks. The door opens. "Oh, such a beautiful girl. Please come in. We've been expecting you." Her father forces her in the door. To Susie Mo's father. "She is in good hands. We will teach her everything she needs to know." He nods. To Susie Mo. I will see you here at 5. Do not give them trouble." "How much trouble can a young girl give us?" She smiles to Suzumo's father. All the women are improperly dressed, most of them wearing skin-tight miniskirts, some exposing too much cleavage. Being sent to the principal's office, Suzumo can't but help cry. One day, she will take control of her emotions, but now she is too young. Getting off the phone. "I know they must go. Not now. I have a troubled student in to see me." He hangs the phone up. "What have you done now, Suzumo?" "I have no fault in it. Attendance is marked that you are late. This is not acceptable. Maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes, but over an hour? Whose fault is it?" "Father's." You have got to be mistaken. I know your father. He supports your education. What were you doing that made you inexcusably late? You should be ashamed of yourself. After all your father has done for you." More uncontrollable bawling leaves Suzumo's mouth. A tall woman comes out of a room. To Suzumo. "Come, I will introduce you to your new daddy." She takes the sobbing, confused girl's hand, leading her to the room. In the room a pimp is found, counting his money, paying no attention to who came in. "We have a new one." "Wait. I'm in the middle of something. How many times do I have to tell you to see if I'm busy before you barge in here? Do I have to put up a do not disturb sign on the door?" His attention fixes onto Suzumo. "What have we here?" "Her name's Suzumo. She's the new one. She's beautiful. She'll do well." To Suzumo. "The money you make each night goes to him. He will pay for school." To Suzumo. "Don't worry, Suzumo. At first you will be ashamed, but soon you will get used to it. Emotions will go away, and it soon will seem like just another day." He laughs. From inside the room, the door opens and re-enters Suzumo. The teacher notices her presence, still teary-eyed. He looks at his watch. "The period's about over. Just this once I will let you leave early. This is just a once-a-time privilege, so do not get used to it." He looks at Suzumo. "Certain things have to be handled." Books and binders are heard getting tossed around. Conversations start and 3-ring notebooks snap closed. Paper is torn out of binders. Some are wrinkled into balls. Suzumo's friend comes up to her. "Suzumo, are you okay?" She nods, sniffs, and wipes her eyes. "Something seems to be bugging you. Please tell me what's wrong. Maybe I can help." "Thank you. You're very kind. But this is something you cannot help me with." Once they are in the halls, Katsuo walks by. "Why are you so sad?" "My reasons are complicated. I think the rest of my life will be complicated." Shadows and darkness fill the room. The chameleon sits helplessly in the dark room. Only a desk lamp is lit and TheJeckle is on the phone. "Yeah, we got him." Walks near the chameleon's leaking bandaged back and puts a hand on his shoulder. "And he ain't going nowhere." Fearsome Flyer already is hard at work, planning to take what doesn't belong to TheJeckle, even if it's by any means necessary. Fearsome Flyer is in the outer halls of the complex. He walks up behind a ninja assassin guarding an entry. He headlocks him, followed by an elbow into the chin. Walking up the hallway, 2 assassins are looking in opposite directions. Before approaching them, he locates a small object and grabs it. He looks at them and throws the object past them. The noise of it landing causes them to take caution. They look for the source of the noise. He then runs up behind them, grabs both their heads, and slams them together. Flyer rushes further down the hallway. The first assassin gets on his feet and pulls the alarm switch. All take caution, and Fearsome Flyer is met by an alert assassin. Combat is suggested. The Flyer accepts. An exchange of hand-to-hand combat is exchanged. This goes on for a while, but at the end, again Fearsome Flyer has the assassin in a headlock. This time he snaps his neck and moves forward. Marshall is away, which gives Robert the chance to get better acquainted with his roommate, Cynthia. Your stories seem pretty brutal. I've always had a fascination with fire. Hey, did you know Johnny Appleseed was a pyromaniac? I've always been a bit of a science geek. Evidently all seeds have an acid called cyanide, and it becomes flammable when it is slightly above room temperature. Really? Really. I wish there was some kind of cyanide blaster. We've been through a lot, more than what most have to go through, especially being disabled and all. We need to stick together. It always seemed like we're getting further and further apart. We are a culture ourselves. Marshall taught me that. Promise me something. When I'm going through hard times, be there for me. This world is a cruel place. I promise. Deep in the halls, Fearsome Flyer makes his approach. He is drawing near to what he has come for. He knows because he is confronted by the TheJeckle's gang of phantoms. One uses an Uzi on the Flyer, but the bullets bounce off his swords. His electromagnetic force field becomes handy when dealing with men who believe they are the law. A green metallic piece of armor can be seen in the distance, but getting there won't be easy. Other phantoms join the fight, some using sheer force on their opponent. They are easily shaken off by Fearsome Flyer. More ammunition is shot, but nothing seems to harm the Flyer. One phantom is about to shoot a bullet from a handgun. Fearsome Flyer grabs his wrist. He forces it to point at another phantom's head and squeezes the man's wrist. He forces one phantom to shoot and kill another phantom. The fight is far from over, because new phantoms are multiplying in numbers. Some try to charge from behind the Flyer. He breaks free from their hold because nobody outlasts him. Fearsome Flyer then pulls both swords from his back. He begins swinging them slowly in circles. He begins to pick up the pace, alternating angles and positions. One by one, the phantoms advance. The Flyer swings. The phantoms shoot. Nothing seems to slow down Fearsome Flyer's aggression. A phantom extends his arm out to shoot, only to be gripped by the Flyer and hyperextended. He is very lucky Fearsome Flyer spared it from being broken. A circle of armed men surround him. Now! With many kinds of weapons they shoot Fearsome Flyer. He swings his blades, and the bullets are all stopped. It seems like no one is a match for our masked man. Suddenly, a large man who is a member of the phantoms appears from behind locked doors. Being chained to the ground, his sheer strength is revealed when he breaks free from the containment device. The huge man makes his way towards Fearsome Flyer. The Flyer is awaiting the attack, his sword horizontally raised above his head, one leg bent, one leg far forward. The man stops feet away, holds his arms, and shakes his head in disapproval. He reaches for Fearsome Flyer, and the electromagnetic sword rips open his flesh. The disapproval decays and turns to outright anger. He uses a crate like a club, aiming for Fearsome Flyer. Flyer dodges the impact. The crate smashes to pieces. Flyer focuses on a dangling wire. He grabs it when he jumps from above it. He lands on the shoulders of the man, and combined with his electromagnetic forces, the live wire on the man's wounds shock his arteries. One traveling through his veins, he stands motionless, and the big man collapses. Robert and Cynthia continue to get closer. I feel society only accepts the ideal person, no different than the one in power. We can talk about that all day. I mean, who's in power now? You mean the president? That's a contradiction. How do you see an ideal American man? She smiles. Tall, white, brown hair. We could walk hand in hand on the beach. Was he disabled? Is skin color important? I get what you're saying. We are loners. Only if you look at it that way. What do you mean? We're like our own race. We gotta stick together. An army of one can easily be defeated, whereas an army of many can put up a fight. We're the forgotten benthos at the bottom of the ocean. Society must be educated about what we still can do. The green metallic body armor still lies untouched. The MGNZN bodysuit shines in the lit area of the room. Out come two dark figures, one slowly applauding. Excellent work, Flyer. You seemed to have beaten your opponents, and not a scratch. How do you do it? Sooner or later, we'll know your secrets, each and every one of them. My assassins were of no unbeatable effort to you, not to mention my army of phantoms. And my most dangerous phantom was an almost effortless match for you. Will you be playing all your cards right tonight, Flyer? There is nothing you can dish out to me that I can't defeat. Oh, really? Is that so? I suppose I'm supposed to get on my knees and surrender myself to you. Not now. You have not met our addition to the team. We call him the Chameleon. Just then, there is a close-up of the second figure. I didn't choose this life, but now I know what I have to do, and if it means taking lives, then so be it. This is the path you've chosen. You can always change your decision. The decision is made, Fearsome Flyer. The chameleon begins darting towards Fearsome Flyer in slow motion. Time speeds up, and the beast jumps on his hind legs, hoping to land on Flyer. But the quick thinker draws his illuminating sword and slashes the chameleon's stomach. You see, Flyer? We get what we want. Nothing can stop us. Fearsome Flyer is too busy to answer back. The chameleon recovers only to open his jaws, hoping to clamp down on his skull to tear dripping warm flesh from the masked warrior. Susimo's father's car pulls up alongside the alley. He gets out of the driver's side, circles the car, and opens the back seat door. A couple of boots step out. No crying, no fussing. Susimo has a new mindset. Her new perception is an overwhelming sense of curiosity. She approaches the same back door as before, with her father by her side, but no forced guidance is needed. Her father knocks. The door opens. To Susimo. Hi, sweetie. To her father. Don't worry. She's in good hands here. I will be back to pick her up at 2. Sure. We have everything under control here. Susimo steps in. Say goodbye to your father. She waves goodbye. Bye, father. Her father waves and leaves. I think Daddy's got some fun things to show you tonight. Oh, yeah? Uh-huh. There's more to it than underground prostitution. It's illegal for a reason. Smiles. She takes her to the pimp's office. The hooker knocks and then swings open the door. She's here. He looks up from counting money. Susimo. Yes. Nightborn beauty. You certainly live up to your name. I just hope you live up to the rest of the agreement. Tonight, I want to show you what only the best know of. Why am I showing this to you? If the name tells truths and tells no lies, then the beauty that is born stands powerful. What is this power you speak of? There are 2 kinds of power. Rightful power over those who are less, and forced power. The second choice is always the easiest to grasp, because the first is something you gotta earn. I know this isn't that easy to understand, but over time this will make perfect sense. But how do you know I am ready to grasp such power? It's a gamble. This whole business is a gamble. You must ask yourself if you are ready to take such an opportunity. She pauses. I am ready. Then come with me. I will show you how to achieve forced power. In this business, you must dominate your clients. A fight is about to begin. Susimo has no idea what she is about to witness. The rules for assassination matches are different. First off, there are no rules. Second, you fight until one opponent dies. The crowd is cheering. The announcer begins to introduce the fight. Ladies and gentlemen, as one of the most dangerous sports in Japanese history, this battle to the death match will take the life of one unlucky opponent. The pimp grabs a drink from the waitress, who is an underground hooker. He sticks a 100-yen bill between her cleavage. She smiles. The challenge begins from these two corners, one in front and one in rear. Each challenger can use any weapon they desire to accomplish this heart-stopping task. Every situation is valid in illegal underground fighting. Suzumo looks frightened as spectators laugh. To Suzumo. You have to learn how to shut out distractions. She hesitates to nod. You see that bell? Once it rings, all hell breaks loose. He laughs. At a corner, the most death-defying samurai, Sasich Yokosaki. At the other corner, the dreaded, mutilating carcass mutilator, the mighty Hirokawa Amoeya. People are busy placing their bets. Let the games begin. Everyone cheers. The bell sounds. People raise their fists in the air, spill their beer, and jump up and down in excitement. The two assassin martial artists at opposite corners get ready to battle to the death. Any weapons and no rules seem achievable. A beautiful hooker parades through the ring. Round 1. The two exchange blows once. Again. Again. The fighting is unbearable to Suzumo. She searches the audience, and she is not the only girl being forced to watch such a brutal match. To Suzumo. This is how you attain dominance. More blows. Punching the lip leaves a trail of blood. The other young recruited hooker is training. Heart begins to race with anxiety. She coughs. An opponent retrieves a blade. He approaches the other, inch by inch, slice by slice. Suzumo's eyes act like mirrors, reflecting the fear that she is learning how to become immune to this danger. The fear in her is revealed as the focus becomes more broad. Who is she now? And what have they done to Suzumo? The battle is far from over. With no rules, anything can be used to defeat the opponent. One looks over his shoulder to be met by an incoming blow. The other grabs the fist, twists it, turns and pulls the other over his back. The one aerial lifted somersaults to redeem control. At the other end of the chain blade is a spiked ball. The Redeemer starts swinging the ball and chain overhead. Swinging. 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 His opponent nearly dodges a fatal blow to the head, as slight impact causes the one being attacked to shed a good amount of blood. The crowd goes crazy as the attacked man knows what he must do. Suzumo is now busy studying the fight, learning the lesson of dominance, something not taught at school. Her training has begun, and her not even being aware of it. The fight brings in a continuous amount of money, bets being placed, hookers carrying drinks. Life can't get much better. The fact that someone is about to be killed escapes everyone's minds. The losing fighter gains confidence by coming up from behind. He is defeated with 2 pair of nunchucks. He begins perfecting his skills while approaching the celebrating punk. The crowd tries to tell him to turn around. By the time he does turn, it's too late. Before the opponent launches the attack, the defender can only raise the chain to try to ward off the brutal beating. The nunchucks are barely regressed by the opponent's chained confidence. The taped-up metal bars continue to swing down, the fighter taking beating after beating. Blow by blow, the end is approaching. To Suzumo. Pain is only an emotion which one chooses to channel into. The fighter, getting badly beaten, now sways, trying to maintain his balance. The opponent continues, eyeing the prize, the title. By now, the badly beaten man is no longer recognizable. as he can no longer tell if it's day or night. One of the most powerful blows ends with lots of spit-up blood. The man slowly falls to each knee. The offensive leader walks around the kneeling regressor, the crowd chanting, "Hero! Hero! Hero!" He then takes one nunchuck, puts it around his neck. The bell that started this fight is viewed, and then the bars are squeezed tightly, strangling his opponent to death. Praying Mantis enters the scene. As close as she gets to freedom, the darkness of her past gets the best of her. Hiding in the night shadows, she carefully plots her next move. Visions of the not-so-distant future distract her train of thought. The stolen metallic armor is manned. It is flown in the night sky behind her. Missiles come out from the armor, pointing it and shot in her direction. But who mans such a destructive device? Returning to reality, Praying Mantis makes her way to the building. She leaps off a nearby structure, only to reach the sidewalk near her destined target. Her metal claws help her claw up the side of the building. Once she reaches the top, she has another glimpse into what lies near, almost as if she saw a matching scuba diving cyborg. Her arms unlike no other. Instead of a hand, jet engines are in place. Her legs are built to swim fast and run fast. The two metallic green monsters disturb her concentration. The diver has a weapon of her own, also coming from within the armor, and is a spinning holster. Praying Mantis snaps back into reality, somewhat confused and bewildered. She has no idea what these visions mean, and that brings fear, something she was not trained to fight. She cannot help but think back to the scuba diving woman, and the most vivid detail that could not escape her mind is her hair. Her magenta-dyed hair so inviting, but so deadly. She must continue her work. Dr. Psycho gave her orders, and these are orders she must obey. She uses her metal fist to break through the ceiling natural lighting window, carefully landing indoors. She was told that in this location a clam bed has been disturbed. All the claws have been opened for their pearls. She has been sent to steal those pearls and give them to Dr. Psycho. She thinks back. Now listen very closely. You have never failed me, which is why you are so essential to this mission. There are precious pearls in many clams, and finding those pearls can be worth a fortune, especially if the dirty work is already done for us. What better place to ransack for these than an aquarium? I want you to get there tonight. Find them. Find them all. Praying Mantis continues her mission, knocking down stands as she checks drawers. She opens another drawer, and to her amazement, it contains small, shiny white beads. Found 'em! She wastes no time and dumps handful after handful in her black bag used to carry her metal claws. Then she climbs the wall part way, swings to an interior beam, and makes her escape. Out from the glass sunroof, she begins her flee for safety. Too bad the building has a silent alarm. She is met by a giant searchlight from a police helicopter up above. She unfastens her claws. When throwing them to the side, she reaches into a compartment in her boot and pulls out a gun. Praying Mantis hides from direct view. A cop with an electrical megaphone begins the negotiation process. "This is the police. No one is trying to hurt you. Put down your weapons and we will do the same." Praying Mantis mocks her weapon. "Suppose I do? How can I be sure you kept your part of the deal?" "You won't. You'll just have to trust us. I'll count to 3 and everyone will drop their weapons. 1, 2, 3. He disarms himself and she pretends to throw it in the shadows. "Come down to talk to us and we will let you go." "I appreciate the date, but I have more important things to do." She points her pistol at him. "See you in hell, asshole." She pulls the trigger. Extreme close-up, and the audio shuts off of the pierce and fall of the cop. All the other cops begin to shoot at Praying Mantis. She loads her gun back in her mechanical holster aside her boot. She runs away. quickly bending to grab her pair of metal claws. She dives down the opposite side of the building, only to activate her electromagnetic boots. Her legs sticking to the beams of the building, her fall diminishes, and her torso beats forward, shattering the glass with her claws. She activates a second button, swings outward again, points her claws at some nearby buildings, and 5 electromagnetic lasers reside from each tip. Once they connect to an opposite charge, her boots lose the electromagnetic grip. The stolen electromagnetic perfection that Dr. Psycho tricked Fearsome Flyer into giving him is now hers. After being magnetically pulled through the city for a while, and watching the toy cars steer through the streets below, Praying Mantis begins to perfect her flight. The shadowed man sits at his desk, only the lamp on, flipping through some papers, and all of a sudden the window shatters. A figure now enters the room, and TheJeckle, not even startled and eyes fixed on a document, smoking a cigar. Did you get them? A whole drawer full. It's for Psycho. I know. He'll be happy. He said you'd give me a whack. Crystal or liquid? I need a good dose. A smack'll do. He walks to the opposite corner, filling a syringe. He has no intention of murdering Dr. Psycho's most skilled assassin. One whack a smack, not overdose, has enough magic to calm a bloodthirsty villain. Slowly walking towards her. It's time to keep your part of the deal. Her attention is directed to the drug dealer. He injects the needle into her forearm. You agreed to give the boss his fair share. Hand it over. She hands over the bag. Here's every last one. Excellent work. He'll be proud. I saw something. These visions. I don't understand them. Now they're probably hallucinations. I wasn't high. There were 2 of them. 2 what? I don't know. It was as if they were human, but not completely. They were machines. They were killing machines. Marshall wheels into the room to visit his friend. At first, the 2 roomies pay no attention to him. They have gotten acquainted and are too busy having a good time. No, that's not how it happened. Yeah, it is. Oh my God, I swear. Haven't you seen it? I did, but it's not true. That's just so wrong. I'd like to see his face when you tell him. Tell him what? You scared me. Are you trying to give me a heart attack? Sorry. Just came to see how you 2 are doing. Fine, man. We've gotten better acquainted. Glad you 2 are getting along. Couldn't have asked for a better roommate. Did you know we're both from South Huntington Beach? We are, and we went to the same high school. We're just a year apart. The 3 persons with disabilities act like they have no disability at all. The way they talk, the way they hold their heads high, everything seems within grasp. Their disability is beginning to lose importance. Robert realizes Marshall has been gone, and not around to visit for a while. Hey man, we haven't seen you for a while. Where you been? Oh, just running some errands. They must be a lot of important errands. She smiles. What? They were. A matter of life and death. Did you have some medical issues? Yeah, but the important thing is that it's over, and we're together. Guess you're right. Like you told me, stay optimistic. Besides, if you surround yourself by a bunch of negative thinking, people you tend to believe what they say, and not want to try. Selective behavior? More than that, negative thinking is negative energy. It can be controlled. It can be turned into positive energy. How? Counteract whatever negative things people say. I never thought of it that way. Any other advice, oh wise one? Yeah, I do actually. Always believe in yourself. If you don't, why should others believe in you? That's just a written invitation to fail. Happily. So, if I go to physical therapy and they feed me a line of crap by saying that I've plateaued, you're saying I shouldn't give up? He nods. What do they know? Screw them. The healthcare system can't run my life. I have many years in a wheelchair behind me. Believe me when I say you're not alone. We all have troubles, some big, some small. These three are just beginning to think along the same wavelength. The will to try, to achieve is so often taken away. Now is the chance to believe in yourself. Only you can decide your fate. It's only kinetic energy. It can be fed in one of two ways, positive or negative. Some see fate, while others see destiny. Yet we are all blind. Set aside your differences. We are all one people. The disabled are enabled. They are one unique culture. Many feuding cultures need to work together to resolve their disagreements. Marshall sees this, and has lived this in silent agony. Now the pain is no more. His ignorant behavior has become militant in comparison. Teaching this has become his sole purpose. Whether he can do this alone or not, that only time will tell. I wish I met you two before. You seem like really cool guys. Nothing special. One thing's for sure, I definitely opened up more since meeting you. Both of you have taught me how to set my goals and achieve them. Now, I understand how lucky I am to be alive. Maybe now I can channel into what I still have. You're starting to sound like me. Yeah, to Marshall. Robert is lucky to have a friend like you. He smiles. Now, all three of us have something in common. Not just our disability, but our ability to see that this is not the end, but only a new beginning. I don't ever want to lose contact with you. We make such a good team. How little did she know. A great thing was forming. This was the beginning of a team for life. The three of them joke around in the hospital room, Marshall sitting with a slight bend forward aside the two beds. As the day progressed, the evening dinner packages arrived. When the containers get passed out, the friends continue to talk. So, what are we going to do tonight when you leave? I don't know. Well, whatever you do, wish we could join you. Soon. Right now you just gotta work on getting better. Then, you can get out of here. What's the first step? Micromanage your meds. If reactions don't feel right, ask if they're a counteracting supplement to the drug. Makes sense. You've been there. Having been down that road truly has its advantages. The advantages you choose to make you who you are. Advice from someone who has been down a similar path in life can help anyone reach their goals in life. Susie Mo gets dropped off and willingly enters the alley, curious to see what she will learn next. Susie Mo. Hi. Come. There is much I want to show you. You must see what we do when there's no client. They walk to a nearby room. The walls lined with computers. In that room are couches, some with laptops on extension cords open to the internet. These are for us to go on dating sites. On the internet we can pretend to be anyone we want. Nobody can see us. You can be anyone the person on the other end wants. Get them to have feelings for you. Then they are like putty in your hands. Then we ask them for money, and every love-stricken fool plays into it. Isn't it that like stealing? No, more like borrowing, with no intention of paying back. They walk further into the room. An online hooker stops typing with disgust. She turns, and sure enough, it's a man. Some guys have the sickest fantasies. This is crazy. I need a drink. To Susie Mo. Once you do this for a while, you tend to know what you can get away with. The two walk to another computer. Remember, not to talk face-to-face to your client. That's no Skype. But if they want a phone call, give them what they want. Another hooker walks by. She bends down. You must be the new girl. Examines the heck other. Look at her. She's so cute. You think so? You're perfect, honey. I'm sure soon enough you won't be able to keep guys off you. Off me? She means they will be quite fond of you. Look at her. So innocent. Don't corrupt the girl. She has a name. Susie Mo. What a pretty name. In this business, you don't go by your real name. I think you have said enough. Quit trying to scare her. We're trying to make our guests feel welcome." The two move on to one of the women having an online conversation. "See this? Soon this will be you carrying these conversations, and most of the money you make is money you keep. We have to turn the money into Daddy. He's very generous when paying us." The online hooker poses as Violet. She had first made up a false story to make the online client feel sorry for her. "What did you say?" "This guy thinks my family is abusive and I ran away. I went on by telling him I'm being treated unfairly. He bought it. So now I've been texting and emailing him for a year. I must have gotten $1,000 from him." "Don't you feel bad when you do this?" "All the time. But you gotta make money to survive. That's the way the business works. I know right now you're not comfortable with our actions, but promise me, give it time. Think about it." Suzumo seems puzzled. Only so much information can be absorbed by her. She has no idea now what is right or what is wrong. Maybe they are feeding her misinformation, but why? Who is right and who is wrong? She notices the girl she saw at the fight in the next room. A man enters the room and motions for Suzumo's guide to follow him. To Suzumo, "Wait here. I'll be right back. I have more to show you." She walks away as Suzumo agrees not to wander far. Immediately she goes to the next room when the man puts his arm around her. Being friendly, she sits down next to the girl. "Hi, I'm Suzumo," reaching out to shake hands. "What's your name?" "Ayaka." Accepts the handshake. "This is an interesting place." "I know. Everything I learned at home is not true anymore. I don't have many friends. Perhaps we can be." "I would like that. This lady wants me to stay in the other room for when she gets back. Maybe I will see you again." "Yes, soon." Suzumo hurries off, not knowing her friend's one deep dark secret. She's dying. Back in the computer room, Suzumo meets up with the lady again. "Follow me. I must show you more." They leave the room, and before reaching a hallway aligned with apartment rooms, she passes by a prostitute with a client, the hooker all over the man. When they enter the hall, everything seems meaningless. This is where you take your clients, if they can't provide a room. They continue down the hall, peering into open doors. The rooms are nothing much. It has no utilities or kitchen space, just a bed with a lamp. I'm sure none of this makes sense now, but give it time. There is much you're unaware of at your age. Think of it as a learning opportunity. Suzumo becomes even more curious. What happens behind those closed doors? "I want to understand." "You will, all in good time." They continue down the hall. "We have all learned that love is meaningless. It can rob you blind. This is how we pay the bills and put food on the table. You can't trust anyone anymore, though. Not even your clients. That's why we offer ninja assassin training. Does this sound like something of interest?" She hesitates to answer. The woman holds out a small sword. "Take it. It's yours." She grabs the sword in agreement to the training. TheJeckle and Dr. Psycho are together. Psycho expresses his anger. "I can't believe you. I give you one simple task and watching what we steal, and you can't even do that. I won't let you down again. Give me one reason why I should spare your life. We think alike. I'm the best you got." "Not right now. You let him get away with the prince. How are we going to remain in power? I give you phantoms and the chameleon, and you still can't stop him." "I'll get him back, I promise." "A promise is not good enough. Give me a chance to make it up to you." He thinks about it. "One chance to correct your mistakes." The new CEO of Psycor is eagerly waiting to take center stage. A press conference goes on as he takes office. "I come before you today both in grief and in happiness. As you all know, a man of great knowledge and dedication to his work was taken from us. Dr. Dick Johnston put in many hours to his work, Many days of overtime were part of his schedule. We don't even know how he made time for his family. His hours of dedication to his experiments were prematurely taken from him in one of the most important times of this company's history. And that leadership is not experienced by many, which is why we knew we had to keep this business in the family. The search for the new voice 4 and CEO of Psychor is his own flesh and blood, Dick Johnson Jr. Applause fills the room and the crowd awaits the new head position of Psychor. Finally, a new figure makes their way to the center stage. Thank you. We all know my father was a dedicated man, both to his job and to his family, and we all wish he wasn't taken from us so prematurely. One can't even begin to mimic his leadership or his excellence, but we don't have to let that slow down one of the top military contributions in the nation. I admit, without the help of everyone who has been here much longer than me, I cannot achieve the excellence my father had. With your guidance, we can match the standards set by my dad for this company. The days ahead may be tough as we go through the transition, but my standards remain that of my dad's. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must proceed with my orientation. The crowd of reporters are full of muffled questions as he walks off stage. Well said, sir. I better take you to your office. They begin to exit the building, and more reporters try to stop them. The two continue resolving the issue. How do we resolve this issue? I don't know. You're the fool with all the bright ideas. I'll get those blueprints back and make Fearsome Flyer pay at the same time. I like the sound of that. Well, make the flyer like putty in our hands, molding his every move like clockwork. Then he will hand over the stolen designs, the blueprints of the future. Without him in the picture, no one can stop us. At last, the city will be ours, under the control of the underworld. But how do we do such a thing? I know there's a way to unlock our destiny. I just need to figure out how. Mr. Johnson and his advisor try to dodge the cameras. A crazy thing happened today, sir, when I got to work. What's that? Nothing can be more crazy than the first day on the job. It has to do with our top secret military project. The stolen project that your father got killed. Right. Somebody called headquarters and claims they're in safe hands. Says he has no intentions of giving the plans back. A record of who? The message can't be traced. Any ideas? This may sound far-fetched, but what if it's the flyer guy? Right. Before he enters his office building, think about it. He's the only one who would steal from what is already stolen. He takes no side but his own. TheJeckle believes he has found a way to interfere with Fearsome Flyer's plan. I must begin to act inferior, gain respect from our new friend. That seems like a difficult task. How do you treat an animal as a superior being? You don't. Once you gain their respect, they listen. Once they listen, they obey. Do you get the picture? We do what you did to Hoodlum. We brainwash him. Then he will be all ours. What does that have to do with getting rid of the flyer? Once I gain control, he will do what I say. If it's hunt and kill Fearsome Flyer, it's what he'll do. You're wise, old friend. I may have failed before, but that is the last time. Psychor amazes the new CEO. He looked down at his schedule, and when he looks up, he finds himself staring at his beautiful secretary. Good morning, Mr. Johnson. You know, it's quite odd that everyone already knows my name. I was your father's secretary. Pours him a cup of coffee. You look like him. I wasn't expecting so much company on the first day. That is one of the policies of this company, and a fine one indeed. If you don't mind, I'd like to show you around a bit. Sure. Maybe you can show me my office. Sure, right this way. The plot continues. Convincing that beast that you're a friend, not a foe, won't be easy. Be sure to be armed. You want to be sure to have the proper tools for the job. Let me reassure you, boss. We will get into the mind of that animal. Once we have him on the tracks of the flyer, there will be no stopping us. At last, I'll be invincible. I must put myself in his position, angry, confused. There must be a million thoughts racing in his head. And think, we put them there. I will get into his mind, and I have the perfect idea how. How? If I told you, it might spoil the surprise. I like surprises. I won't let you down this time. The tale turns as the beginning of the end of Fearsome Flyer may be in sight. The room filled with slabs of fleshy meat and pools of blood circling half-eaten carcasses. Pieces of meat on counters dripping blood caused the night air to reek. The chameleon, half man, half mutated beast, was once a well-known physicist and head of Psychor. His skin pulsating in places, lets out a roar of agony. Pain can only begin to explain how this disfigured monster feels. The beast can hear the footsteps down the hall, tracking each step as it comes closer. Thump, thump, thump. On the phone. Excellent aim, if I do say so myself. Thanks, but I can't take all the credit. If it wasn't for the Phantom Mafia, he would have escaped. Give yourself some credit. If the mob couldn't stop him, but you could, then I think that deserves some respect. You're right. Now if you excuse me, I have some business to attend to. Dick Johnson's secretary leads him down the hall. This is where you go when you need some assistance with something. Don't hesitate. We're all happy to help. He takes a sip of coffee. I'll remember that. To the right are the main offices. Yours is here, but a little further down. An employee passes. Welcome aboard, Mr. Johnson. The walk is almost over. Has anyone ever thought to maybe put my office by the entrance? I don't make the rules here. That's your job. They get to the office. Here we go. This is it. That's it? Yes. Make yourself comfortable. If you need anything, my desk is down the hall and to your right. Or call my desk at extension 338. She walks away in the opposite direction. Dick Johnson, alone in his office, begins to recall his father's past. Looking at some of the awards on the wall gives painful memories. Him being acknowledged for his effort behind all of Psychor's projects. Memories of him going to the podium to accept his award. The crowd clapping. Play back in his head. The pictures of him on the wall seem so vivid, so real. As he examines them, they bring chills to his spine. Making his way to his desk, he takes another sip of coffee. He looks at the seat first, and then down to a paperweight. He recalls giving it to his father on Father's Day. Picking the rock up and gives him memories of the day he made it for him in class. He steps behind the desk, putting the coffee down and examining a pen. He looks out the hallway to watch passing traffic, mumbling. He's all around me, and yet he's not here. The phone gets his attention because there's a blinking red light on it. The latch in the door reveals a pair of eyes. Voiceover. I must reason with him. The bloody room holds the creature who paces the cell. TheJeckle puts out a piece of jerky. Want some? That's right, it's yours. The monster slowly breathes deeply, letting off steam from his nostrils. Here, take it. The slowly begins to trust him. The jerky dangles through the latch. Man or monster, the meat is grabbed and devoured like a good snack. I have plenty more, and they're yours, as long as you do what I say. Silence fills the air. There's a man who flies the street called Fearsome Flyer. He took what's yours. He must pay. Make him pay. The chameleon listens and seems puzzled. Then you can have all the jerky you want. A bond of trust is forming between the two. The chameleon enters a life of crime. He behaves calmly. He has respect for the man who feeds him. He laughs. The first day of intensive therapy begins. Thanks for being here on our first day. I heard it can be like hell learning you can't move like you did before. You know I'm here for you, just like how you got my back. I think we're both lucky you're here. Things may be a little more difficult, but the way I used to look at it was this disability is a punishment. Now, I realize this isn't a punishment. This is a gift. It's what you make out of it. The only way I got where I am today is because I kept pushing myself. But we don't have the motivation that you do. Sure you do. Maybe having an athletic background is part of it. But you've got it in you as long as you say you can. The way you talk, it's so encouraging. I've had my share of losers in my life who talk down on me, but don't let them decide who you are. Remember, the winners in your life who encourage you to follow your dreams. Their first visit to occupational therapy. 2 nurses push Robert and Cynthia to go over what OT is. A lady walks towards the 3 friends. Hi, I'm Monica. I'm going to be your OT therapist today. Here, we work on upper body activities. We work towards your independence at home. Only Cynthia and Robert I'm supposed to see. Who was the third person? This is Marshall. He's our friend. Oh. He went through therapy before. Tell these 2 how fun it is. It's not really. It can be quite depressing, but don't let that get you down. The way I got through it was by treating it like boot camp. That's a good way to think of it. How can I use my upper body if I don't have hands? There are things called prosthetics which act like hands that you can learn to control with your body. Let me set your friend up first with what he'll be doing, and I'll bring out a sample. Monica takes out a few cones and a few tables of different heights. The object of this is to first grab the cones with your right hand, lift them and put them on each table, and take them off with your right hand. Then repeat the task with your left hand, and so forth. No problem. That sounds simple. What he doesn't realize is this whole central nervous system has shifted because of his broken back. Trying to control his arm movements. This is too hard. Why? Because you're out of practice. Work on that, and I'll get a prosthetic to show Cynthia how it works. The therapist leaves. He tries. It's no use. You can't give up that easily, man. He's right. You know what he told us. I guess you're right. This is going to be a long, hard road. Trust me, you'll make it. It'll be tough, but you'll make it. The 2 friends encourage him as he continues to place cones. A while goes by, and footsteps can be seen going towards the room. The therapist has come back, this time holding a special prosthetic tool. These are adaptive devices to help make daily tasks easier. They aren't a replacement for your hands. Most people in similar situations learn to use what they still have as well. This sure does seem like a lot of work. Who said therapy was going to be easy? Doing things a different way takes practice. We're here to help you get that practice in. It's what you do with that afterwards that is left completely up to you. She holds up the prosthetic. These don't have any muscles to grip or carry much weight. These aren't measured for you, so by wrapping up a towel, simulating an arm, I'll show you how this tool works. She wraps the towel, stuffs the towel end in the cuff. So with your grip, a pencil, you go like this, or maybe to use a fork. I'd rather be doing that right about now. Be thankful you have hands. Things are so much easier with them. She repeats the task over and over again until her hand-eye coordination outsmarts severed brain messages. Repetition after repetition. Every time continues to make slow progression. Her movements have to slow down in order for her to outdo her disability and have more control. The therapist is amazed at their determination. Marshall is glad that sharing his experiences has had a positive effect on both Robert and Cynthia. The OT now gives Robert a new task. Nice work. Now I'm going to give you something a little easier to do. You see this board above me? I want you to reach as high up as you can. Not only is it good for your back, but it will help you retrain how your brain sends messages. Sounds good to me. Anything to stop doing this. Reach high. He does the motion. It's slow at first, like being forced to reinvent the wheel. Cynthia and Marshall encourage Robert to try hard. The encouragement actually seems to work. With some work, Robert slowly manages to extend each arm overhead at separate times. I knew you could do it. Nice job, bud. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the encouragement. The session is not over. Cynthia awaits more therapy. Good job, Robert. Let's hope your friend Cynthia has what it takes for this next exercise. She has some metal rings to hold up drapes around a lowered vertical bar. Do you have enough patience to move every ring separately from side to side? Silence fills the room. I believe I can do it. Go, Cynthia. The task is in front of her. To make it a little more fun, I'm going to time you. Cynthia's eyes widen. Then you can beat your time each time we do this. Come on, Cynthia, you can do this. You know, you're right. If there's anyone who thinks I can't, fuck 'em. Watch that language, girl. Sorry, it's just, if you were in my situation, you'd understand. Dick Johnson hastily dials his secretary. Yes? Hey, babe. I prefer Miss Hawk. Okay, Miss Hawk. I would have been a little more polite, but we have an emergency. Can you connect me with my advisor? Sure thing. Hold on. She connects the lines. Hello? It's him. Who? Dick? That you? He left a message right here, in my office. He said don't bother contacting him. If he needs our help, he'll find us. Wait. Get a hold of yourself. Who? Fearsome Flyer. Dr. Psycho terrorizes North Huntington Beach, joining in his villainous destruction. Terrorizing the riders. At last, we are too powerful for the Fearsome Flyer. He uses his electromagnetic shield to hit the roller coaster car head on and derail it. People are running every which way. Give me that foolish flyer. I want him now. Show yourself. What do you have to hide? At that, something happens. The words that came out of his mouth he wishes he never said. Falling upon the action. Be careful what you wish for, Psycho. With that, an electric battle begins. Most of the volts from Fearsome Flyer are redirected, because of the magnetic pull, to Psycho's metal suction discs. A spare few are stopped by his electronic force field. Dr. Psycho takes his weapon of choice and whips its spinning jaws through the air. Give up, Flyer. I know your secrets. Never will I give in to you. Everyone knows your wishes of domination are a lie, just like the rest of the crap you say. Once crap, always crap. Be sure you can take what you dish out. With that said, Dr. Psycho raises his rotating whip blade, lowers it, and breaks a department store window. The blade throws Fearsome Flyer through it as well. Give up, Flyer. You stand no chance against me. A chance is not what I came for. I came for victory. You say these words with such confidence. Be careful what you wish for. I don't wish for anything anymore. I'm in charge of my own destiny, and you're not in it. If it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get, to the finish. The store is completely destroyed. They exchange electromagnetic energy. Giving up is not an option for Fearsome Flyer. Let the blade achieve its work. It doesn't scare me. What scares me is your unwillingness to accept defeat. Far from it. You know why? Because I will win. And when I win, I conquer. What I'm saying is I won't accept defeat. Say what you want, but we all know only one can decide. Fearsome Flyer, to his foolish remarks, by leaping to the ground, doing a flip, and using his feet to push Dr. Psycho back outside. The fight continues. You just don't give up, do you? Only quitters give up. Your attitude is very much respected, but we'll see how far that attitude of yours gets you. Further than it will ever get you. That's not nice. And to think, all the trouble I had to go through to keep my end of the deal. What deal? The trade that made you whole. That was a trick. You forced me to give you my technology. Let me remind you, your trade was your end of the deal. The deal is done. Be prepared to see the monster you created. Once a monster, always a monster. Crazy freak. I may be something you can't comprehend, or an uncomfort zone. But hear this, I ain't going nowhere, so you better get used to me. Dr. Psycho uses his metal suction discs to climb back up the roller coaster tracks. Fearsome Flyer points his sword atop the highest part of the tracks, and voltage leaves the tip of the sword. The energy quickly pulls him beyond Dr. Psycho and to the top of the tracks. You can't outrun me. Who said I was trying? Try as you might. Running from me is no use. I'm everywhere fear flies. Your words don't scare me a bit. All that you are is a worthless coward to me. Coward? You don't even recognize a true coward when you see one. Oh, please. You're about to make me sick. The only one who's sick is me. Sick of hearing your meaningless, filthy, no good reasons as to why you're so much better than anyone else. Suzumo is taken to what only few now know exist. She is shown around by a powerful sensei who understands each movement like if it were that of his own. A pleasure to know of your interest in my class. There are students in combat all around them. The students, mostly girls, sold into prostitution. In this class you will examine the mind of a murderer. You will learn to attack before being attacked. This is one of the weaknesses many students hold. But I sense you're different. You don't seem afraid to face your destiny. Suzumo follows the sensei, amazed at everything going on. I will teach you how to defend yourself. Things focus on one particular fight. I'll treat you like one of my own. We're all family. We all look out for each other. This man somehow gives her reassurance in her decision as joining the training. They go over to study combat weapons. Soon, these will become part of you. Your chemistry will connect, and you'll be at one with your defense. To this, Suzumo is amazed. All the weapons, big or small, seem to give her a sense of power. The man can tell of her excitement. See those? Pick one up. Be careful. They're dangerous. She does, and holding the objects gives her a sense of power. You seem comfortable with your decision. I am. Wonderful. That is the beginning of becoming a great fighter. Seeing that you're comfortable is a decision making tells me you'll become a great fighter in no time. You'll practice with me now, but soon you'll be paired up to practice. Weapons are not to be used at all times, only in means of self-defense. Suzumo is distracted by others fighting. If you want to be a fighter, it takes determination. I never said this was going to be easy. The new regimen will take some getting used to, but she knows her sensei believes in her. She feels she cannot let him down, or herself for that matter. When you advance at your opponent, you must do so with caution. You mustn't wake the beast within. To be on the offensive side of any fight gives incredible odds in your favor. But don't doubt yourself. That's a sign of weakness, and your opponent will take advantage of any opportunity they get. You must stand strong. He points at two opponents. Look at them. They have something most don't have. They can sense each other's moves in advance. This is what you need to work on to be a skilled ninja. It is important in what you do. An assassin is too often taken advantage of. You must learn to sense that danger. The fighters exchange blows, and the other moves from harm's way. First a punch, answered with a rotated shoulder. Then a kick, answered with a ducking body. Suzumo is excited to learn this new way to defend herself. When I swing at you, it must be second nature to back away, almost how one's body reacts to things that are too hot. Try swinging at me. With that simple command, she watches how he defends himself by twisting his upper body. He makes the motion seem very simple, something she thinks she can grasp. Now you try. When her sensei strikes, she is knocked down. Get up, Suzumo. This is a sign of weakness. Any enemy can take advantage of this situation. When getting up, he pushes her, knocking her off balance. Hey! What was that for? I'm teaching you. You must always know your surroundings. I do know them. Then how was I able to cash in on the situation? If you knew your surroundings like a true ninja, you would have been able to prevent me. This is an important lesson to learn, if being on the defensive is what you want. I don't know what I want anymore. You were lost, child. Lost in reality. But now we have found you. Understand. Love you. I'm concerned about your safety. All of us here, we love you. In the rest of the world, that can do harm. They don't love you like we do. Suzumo finally realizes what she has been held for so long. She is alone in this world. She is responsible for her own future. It all of a sudden seems like the world has given up on her, but her new reality has yet to set in. You are strong-willed. I like that. It makes an excellent fighter. Stay this way. More need to be this way. Believe in yourself. You can accomplish anything you set your mind to. What you believe in your mind, you can believe in your heart. Make me proud, Suzumo. She starts thinking of her real father as her ride to work. Her father didn't care anymore. All that matters to him is that there's food on the table. As long as Suzumo kept going to train, they had money for school. Have you been practicing what I've been showing you? She nods. The key component to fighting is to never show weakness. If you do, it is guaranteed your control of the circumstance will regress. Let's see how much you've learned. He swings at her. Her body twists. He swings at her in another direction. She dodges again. Excellent. He kicks at her. She bends out of the way. He sweeps his leg to trip her. She jumps over it. Nice. When she does this, she doesn't even flinch. She doesn't even smile. And she focuses on the movement. Great work. What is your secret? You know how you told me to close my eyes and think of the sounds of a waterfall? Well, I've been closing my eyes and listening to running water from the faucet. I've been picking up the different sounds and they make a visual imprint in my mind. I see good things in you. I want to learn as much as I can. Teaching a dedicated student is very rewarding. Next, you'll be paired with one who possesses many of the same talents. Will there be weapons involved? He smiles. Not real weapons. We don't want to hurt our own flesh and blood. Do I get to choose my partner? I wish it was that easy. There was this girl I met the last time I was here, Akaya. He looks at her for a moment. Matches are still happening all around them. I'll see what I can do. Yes. Robert and Cynthia just barely have witnessed their struggles. Moving on to speech therapy is another eye-opener. Reaching out to greet. Hello to you both. My name is Annette. I'm delighted to meet both of you today. And I see you brought company today. Whispers to Marshall. She doesn't mean that. Today we're going to work on some skills that have been affected by the trauma you may have experienced in the past. We can start out by introducing one another. You can start us off. Okay, hi. I'm Robert, and like my buddy, I can't walk anymore. Would you mind telling us why you can't walk? You don't have to if you're uncomfortable. It's okay. I broke my back. She gasps. We were talking at school and this punk girl, Melissa, comes up and lies. She treats Marshall like he doesn't have feelings. I was sitting at eye level with him when she punched me and knocked me off balance. I fell down a well and broke my back. That is certainly very traumatic. What about you? My traumatic experience is more like a horror story. If it is too uncomfortable to share, you don't have to. Let's just say I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Were you where you shouldn't be? I didn't know it at the time, but I was where the phantoms like to hang out. I lost my arms and legs because they torched the place. Before I was rescued, they murdered my parents. That's a crazy story. All the trauma you have undergone affects your daily activities. We are going to learn to overcome our experiences by exercising our minds. What do you mean? Trauma lives in our subconscious, and we are going to work to expand your subconscious so hopefully your trauma doesn't rule your life. And your friend? Marshall. Yes. Would you like to share what you had to overcome? A lot. The doctors gave me little, if any, to wake from my coma. I remember slowly coming out of it and thinking everything I saw was part of a weird dream. My old friends around me, nurses, some crazy visitor I've never seen before. All there for me. Why? I remember thinking I was flying, but really I was being pushed in a wheelchair. Everything was taken from me. My legs, my voice, my ability to eat and drink. It took 10 years to even start to get used to. It took a near-death experience, I remember, to get me out of my coma. You've been through a lot. Would you tell me how you began to cope with these experiences? I quickly realized a higher power is on my side, and I learned doctors don't know everything. I was put in charge of shaping my own future. But he still carries this trauma. It's not gone. Far from it. But if I had a chance to erase my disability, I wouldn't. It's truly made me a stronger person. I'm a fighter and won't give up. I want the best for my friends. I don't want them to give up. You're lucky to have such a great friend who believes in you. The lesson begins. Today we're going to practice how to over-enunciate the words we use in power struggles. It happens to all of us, and by becoming better acquainted, we can see traumatizing events often derive from power struggles. Makes sense? So by clearly projecting my voice, we are dominant? Exactly. By projecting your words, you threaten one's power. It almost sounds too easy. It can be, with a little practice. This doesn't come overnight. A tool like this needs to be practiced and perfected over time. I'm sure I'll get the hang of this. You will. But you have to remember to use it and over again, until you don't have to think of it anymore. I can do this. First, I thought we can play a little game that will help perfect this tool. How's it work? Both of you will argue both sides of a topic your friend, Marshall, chooses. Okay. Sounds easy, but in reality, you can't convince me to change my point of view on the topic if your persuasion isn't convincing enough. Oh, kind of like survival of the fittest. Kind of, except you must use your voice. This exercise will teach you how to raise and lower your voice through the fluctuation of the dialogue. Marshall, go ahead, pick a topic. Is therapy worthwhile? Now, Robert, you start us off. Why do you think therapy is beneficial? In order to get better at anything, it requires practice. Good. Now you can tell us a reason why you should go back to your hospital room. First of all, OT really tired me out, and wait to give the next reason on another turn. Good though. You both have the idea. The two practiced until their hour was up, giving each other examples to back their viewpoints up. The session goes on for an hour and their friends learn from each other. Their viewpoints of their disability has shifted. What one fails to grasp, the other can contribute to. They exchange their thought of who they were, what they have become, therapy, and the road to recovery. Well, it was nice meeting you all. Yeah, we learned a lot today, didn't we, Cynthia? I did, but I just don't see how it'll help me get over my trauma. Give it time. Nothing happens overnight. You can say that again. Give it a week. You won't notice the changes, but people who don't see you much will definitely notice your progress. I heard how much I improved by some of my visitors. I've got some things to do before the next patient comes. Okay, we'll see you later then. The ending of each session is only the beginning of their recovery. Events turn. The focus is now on TheJeckle. A true man to your purpose indeed. I warn you though, be careful, Flyer. You never know who's after you. My intentions are not to defeat the weakness, but to conquer those who have already been defeated. I sense your soul weakening with pity. We all know we are becoming too powerful for you. The challenge is welcomed. Me and the chameleon, we've bonded. Our goals are for the same purposes, to kill you. Stepping closer. And to think, all I had to do after all I've done for him, the only way to get through his thick skull was through this. He pulls out some jerky. His favorite is raw meat. Come here, boy. He throws the jerky in the air, and the chameleon catches and eats it. You're next, Flyer. Sick 'em, boy. With that, the chameleon obeys, and pounces towards his enemy. Fearsome Flyer draws his swords, points, and flies. At this, TheJeckle laughs. The newly constructed team certainly does challenge our hero. The chameleon growls with anger. Fearsome Flyer is not easy to pursue. His sword, magnetized by beams of energy, weave him through a falling Ferris wheel. The angry beast is already gnawing on the control. His sheer strength of a frustrated push causes too much tension on the machine. The Ferris wheel crashes with a cloud of smoke. The competition really is difficult to deal with. Voltage is geared to intercept with the monster's body. You don't have what it takes to take what is already taken from me. One can take my body, injure it, corrupt it, but you can never take my soul. This comment angers the chameleon even more. This brings out a fierce glare in his eyes. He swings his claws at Fearsome Flyer. Flyer doing tricks with his sword or in the air frustrates the beast. Another fierce roar is let out. Fearsome Flyer has his opponent in a headlock. The chameleons sway him side to side, try to knock off Flyer. Give up while you can, because I never will. The beast fights on. Our hero shows no signs of weakness. The Flyer descends upon some nearby outside seating. The chameleon gallops swiftly behind him. He throws chairs in his direction in hopes to slow him down. The beast who hides in the shadows uses his mere strength to crush an incoming chair. He lets out a fierce roar. Fearsome Flyer holds a sword in front of him with both hands. It lets off an energy charge, almost a sonic boom, raising winds and lifting tables. The monster almost effortlessly continues forward. Our hero continues to defeat the beast. The chameleon will not take his eyes off the target, because that means no jerky. He works for TheJeckle now, and he discards his memories of his family and his job at Psychor. Coming to terms with his new status quo has been difficult, but there is no returning to reality. The Flyer has met his match, but somehow still has things under control. Fearsome Flyer uses his strength to keep the offensive. He reaches for his other sword. Spinning them near his body gives him a sense of protection. The protection seems to wither away once the beast overcomes the fierce winds. Flyer fights for control of the jump from the chameleon. The two fight on the ground, and Fearsome Flyer gets up and pushes him through the glass. The fight continues from within. Neither of them seem like they are tiring. Fearsome Flyer hurls his body over the cash register counter. This seems to throw the chameleon off for a while. He paces the store for a while, not figuring out where he is. Flyer quickly premeditates his next move. When the chameleon is looking the other direction, he raises his head. His night vision glasses help him plan his attack. Mathematical equations assist him in measuring the square feet of the room. Then the speed he runs and the speed the chameleon runs. He counts the number of windows and gives them an estimated measure. He measures the reaction rate at which the monster will pick up on a disturbance. He then yells, "Hey you! Yeah, you!" The beast turns, begins charging, but the Flyer is ready. He points his sword across the room. A jolt of electricity hits the far corner of the window. The glass projects it to the window opposite of where it came from. The electricity finds more windows and mirrors to reflect off of. This temporarily blinds the chameleon, giving the Flyer a chance to get out. As soon as his vision returns, he notices the Flyer is missing. He then returns outside. Once outside, the frustrated chameleon searches for his enemy. Fearsome Flyer charges from behind. The chameleon spots him out of the corner of his eye. He violently turns and intersects the charge. The two exchange wrestling moves, and police are finally on their way. This is nothing the police can handle, though. That's why Fearsome Flyer is needed. The forced entry into society was meant to one day come. Let that day be today. Let us put our differences behind us. What makes us different makes us unique, makes us one of a kind, makes us special. This needs to be grasped by society. Nobody is better than the other. Able-bodied or disabled, race, sexuality, or gender. Ranking is downgrading and hurtful. It is normal for humans to classify to make sense of everything, but we must strive to mend these habits. The chameleon represents society, who is angry and degrading, not the one group, but to all groups. No one person is to take the blame for any wrongdoing. If any, the only one to blame is oneself. Fearsome Flyer is not perfect. In fact, he is far from it. His near-death experience got him to realize how important every second is. Fearsome Flyer raises his sword above his head. The electrical voltage escapes the tip, and the magnetism pulls his body to the roller coaster tracks above. The chameleon jumps and climbs the first floor's walls. His grip is strong enough to crack the cement seal. Pieces of cement fall and dust flies everywhere. When he reaches the top, he is met with a punch by the flyer. The blow slightly knocks him off balance a bit. The creature strives to regain his balance, and when he does, he is met by 2 thumbs gouged in each eyeball. The chameleon lets out a fierce yell. Serves you right. No one should have to put up with your crap. The flyer uses his electromagnetic sword to change locations. When the chameleon can see again, he focuses on the flyer's nice juicy arm. He attacks his foe. But as he is charging, Fearsome Flyer pulls out one of his swords. The beast meets the blade. Blood sprays through the air because of the effect of the impact. At this he has conquered evil again, but the journey is far from over. We have not seen the last of the chameleon, only the beginning. The story is far from over. The flyer thrives to define his name. Only few deserve to be remembered. Suzumo is ready to train. Tonight her sensei will pair her up with another girl sold into illegal prostitution. Her sensei tells her of the news. Suzumo, you'll be very happy. I've located your friend. Ayaka? Yes. She will be paired with you immediately. We do not normally pair up girls who know each other, but you are an exception. I sense great promise in you. Bowing with respect. Thank you, sensei. If I find you two messing around, though, and not practicing, she will be replaced. Do I make myself clear? Looking downward. Yes, sensei. Looking back to the other assassins. Reveal the girl. They move back, revealing Akawa. Suzumo is so glad to see her again. The assassins are told to leave, and their sensei lays down some ground rules. I bring you two together because you already share a common bond. Don't make me regret my decision. I sense great things for both of you. Let me not be mistaken. The shot completely circles them. I know this day would come. The power of the ninja assassin lies within both of you. The scent of accomplishment is strong. The scent of defeat can be even stronger. But are we going to let that control us? No direct eye contact. No, sensei. Good. You girls better not let me down. Now, I go. When I return, I expect to see what you've learned. The two girls, not shocked and confused, stand still and don't know what to do. Their sensei turns and leaves. So now what? She shrugs her shoulders. I don't know. Maybe we should try to block each other's punches. I wish there was some kind of manual. Maybe there is. Watch the other girls. So, the attention is directed at the other assassins in practice. 2 other girls are successfully engaged in combat. Swings are blocked, kicks are altered, and moves are counteracted. They almost make it seem too easy. One draws her sword. The other reacts quickly by seeking her own weapon. In her luck, a chain is dangling nearby. Not just any chain, a wick is found at each end. She soaks each end in a pond of lighter fluid, and they immediately light up. The chain is a stick in the middle, and both are spun on each side of the girl. The other vigorously waves her sword in the air. When she does, she is threatened with swirling chains of fire. The chains twist and turn, never once leaving their rotation. Remember, our sensei doesn't want us to use our weapons yet. Weapons are not what makes the ninja. Skill does. The sword strikes the chain, but no irritation is felt by the chain twirler. Instead, she is too busy plotting her vengeance. When the sword strikes next, she is ready to take control. The sword descends. The chains are spun in such a way that it wraps around the sword and yanks it from her arm. The sword flies through the air, and the other assassin in training is left defenseless. The fight is won, but there is no celebration. Instead, they just continue, repeat the training, almost as if they are machines, brainwashed and only programmed to fight. Let's compare it to another fight. The focus shifts to another fight. Pay attention to the different fighting methods. It is almost important to watch how each opponent achieves dominance. The two middle-aged women are completing the training to have ninja assassin skills before entering the streets of illegal prostitution. The two bow to one another, neither bowing lower, as this is a sign of respect. A ninja assassin is trained to respect nobody. The fight begins much how the last one began. It is first started with hand-to-hand combat. One strikes from behind and the other grabs their arm and flips them over their head. The other knees the shin and sweeps the floor with her leg. Her opponent stumbles, but briefly pushes up. They exchange more martial art skills. So, if I'm right, they will soon use their weapons. I love your logic. Sure enough, they draw their weapons. This time, it's a battle with size at both ends. They are spun and intersected. Only true ninjas understand that overpowering the enemy is not as important as the perfection of the skill. The fight continues, but only for a while. Their math is used mostly to understand how to defend. Weapons or no weapons, learning how to defend is something Suzumo and Ayaka need to grasp. Ayaka coughs again. Her heart rapidly races. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm getting over a cold. Did you see a pattern? They both use hand-to-hand fighting methods before turning to their weapons. Look deeper into their minds. They were focused on their ultimate goal. They all approached the battle as if they were going to win. Every time their focus is distracted, they risk paying the ultimate price. What's that? Death. We're fighting for our lives now. But we're just kids. Don't you see it? They don't care about us in this place. Why do things have to be so hard? I ask myself that too. I say we practice hand-to-hand combat so we can show our sensei something based on these girls. They both face each other, ready to fight. The patterns of the motions play back in their heads. At the same time, they try to mimic their moves. They must master their fighting skills before learning how to use weapons. The memorized fighters punch and kick at each other. Moves are carefully copied, the defending opponent blocking each move. At first it's a kind of ecchi, but slowly the skills improve. It's almost an athletic training program, every move causing sweat to run down Suzumo's face. It seems odd, but Ayaka is not perspiring, though her body starts to smell salty. What is wrong? A long time ago, Ayaka decided that she would not let cystic fibrosis run her life. Are you okay? Yeah. What comforts her the most is that she knows somebody cares. Practice continues. The girls copying what they have seen. The improvement is so small, but the effort so huge. Exchanging blows is slowly becoming a thoughtless motion, almost a mechanical effort. Ayaka stops to catch her breath. Perhaps you should both take a break now. What she does not realize is Ayaka cannot overexert herself anymore. The rules have changed. She is no longer the girl she once was. Now, the friends have a physical therapy appointment. Hi guys, my name is Amy. I'm going to be working with you today. Hi, I'm Robert. This is Cynthia, and this is my buddy Marshall. Nice to meet you all. In physical therapy, or PT, we work on all your muscle groups. Some people like to call this place pain and torture. It's all in your attitude. Do you want to get better? It's just painful because you're tight. We can help you loosen your muscles. Why do I have to worry about it? It's not like I have my arms and legs anymore. Stay positive. We can teach you how to walk again. It may not look perfect, but how? There are scientific breakthroughs each day. There are fake legs, and with the help of an E-stem unit, your nerves will be shocked to what they're supposed to do. What does E-stem mean? Electric stimulation. To Robert. As for you, don't give up hope. We'll have you walking in no time. Robert and Amy are by the parallel bars. Pretty hard to believe, but I believe in you. You must believe in yourself. And with all the strength in your upper body, you'll be able to stand in these bars. I'm sure you have heard about all the research of paralysis. This too will speed up the recovery. So, you think I can walk again? I don't think. I know you can. It's all about determination, how willing you are to face the challenge. You make it sound too easy. The road to recover is anything but easy, and I'm here to help you through it. As long as you think I can do it, I think I can do it. Maybe we should start you with weights. That sounds like a good place to begin. To Marshall. What do you think? He nods and smiles. Sounds like a great place to begin. With that, Robert begins preparing his body for what lies ahead. The journey of improvement is never dull. Now, it is time for Cynthia to work on stimulating her leg muscles. Amy transfers her onto a special stationary bicycle that sends electrical pulses to her legs. I'm going to put these electrodes on you. They may feel kind of cold. While placing them, this machine is one that stimulates your muscles, improving the blood flow and increasing the chances that size legs prosthetics will work for you. Oh, great, more plastic. What do you mean? That's what I got from OT, too. Well, these will help you. I'm not opposed to it. It's just weird. It'll take some getting used to. I bet having a disability is a huge transition, one I would never do well with. But you have a good attitude, all the support, the friends, the encouragement you need to go far. Don't let your disability get in the way of achieving your dreams. Since you put it that way, I guess maybe I could give it a try. That's what I want to hear. Great job, both of you. She walks over to Marshall. So, how long have you all been friends? Cynthia is Robert's roommate, and the two hit it off real well. He introduced me, and we all got along. Robert and I have been friends since middle school. All the others ignored me, or that's how I felt. But he came to talk to me, and we've been talking since. I can only imagine now how much friendship means to him. We've been through a lot together. You must be an inspiration to both Cynthia and Robert. I hope so. I have faith in them. And they have faith in you. That's how friendship works. Robert is busy working on his trunk stability, or core, for improved balance and control. Let's wrap it up for now, and we'll see you after lunch, okay? So Amy disconnects Cynthia from the electrodes. Robert wheels over to Marshall. Once Cynthia is back in her chair, a nurse is seen waiting for her. All three friends, accompanied by a nurse, make their way back into their room. On their way back to their room, they forget the nurse is there and start a conversation. I can't believe it. It's already lunchtime. Time sure does fly here in the hospital. Next thing you know, we'll be back here for more. You'll get used to it. How long were you in rehab? 6 months. But therapy is a process. It never ends. I still am going, staying physically fit. You never plateau or stop improving. The gains are just not visible day by day, or maybe week by week, but the rush of working out definitely improves things. Practice repetition. They never fail. Setting a goal is important. Short-term goals help accomplish long-term goals. The long-term goal doesn't have to be realistic. Don't limit yourself. If you want to walk again, then that's what you're going to do. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You have a real good attitude. Sometimes that's what you gotta have. With hell staring you in the face. You amaze me, man. There's something about you that lures you in, like a tractor beam. When they get back to their room, the nurse leaves, and his friend is still amazed at the knowledge he holds in his head. How come you never told me about all this before? You weren't ready. Ready for what? There's a lot you don't know about me. What don't I know about you? We grew up together. We're practically brothers. An awkward silence fills the room. You know when I wasn't here, and I said I had some errands I had to run? They weren't medical errands. You heard that Psychor was raided. The director was murdered. And some top secret plans and a working prototype were stolen. I know where they are. The others are shocked. I'm telling you both of this because I need your help. I'm telling you how to fight for what was taken away because I believe in you both. You may not believe me at first. I'm Fearsome Flyer. My enemies are becoming too strong. I need a team. The Inferno. To Robert. Magnesian. To Cynthia. Cyclone. Are you in? Fearsome Flyer eyes fall upon TheJeckle. I'm amazed at your endurance. I'm surprised you haven't given up. You shouldn't be. Imagine, a world without the Flyer. It would be almost as sad as a world without me. Be careful what you wish for. It's easy enough to come true. Let's face it, you need me. I need you. Look at all the lonely souls, having no one to talk to, no one to turn to. Sometimes it's nice to have a friend. Who would you call a friend? You filthy, stinky, lying piece of trash? Grinning. Come on, Flyer. You and I both know we need each other to get on with life. Only a fool would mutter those words. He draws his sword. I'll make sure you remember that in hell. He points his sword to the tracks near TheJeckle. The ride stops here. Now get off of these tracks. He uses his sheer strength to knock his energy off of the building. The fallen debris lay on the surrounding lawn. The Flyer, moving fast, flies over before his enemy has chance to get up. TheJeckle struggles to get up. Fearsome Flyer forces him up, grabbing his arms. No fair. I wasn't ready. Oh? And I was ready to deal with all the shit you dish out? He gets his hand into a fist, losing confidence. Don't hit me. Perhaps we can talk this over. You think we're on good terms? Give me one good reason why I shouldn't hit you. Because we're friends. Wrong answer. He punches. He gets tossed across the screen like a lifeless sack of potatoes. Maybe we can settle this slight misunderstanding, perhaps in a less violent way. Grabbing him by the shirt. You leave me no choice. Once a scumbag, always a scumbag. But together we're strong. Who told you that? Because whoever told you that crap is lying. He shoves him away. Look, you're causing enough trouble. I don't need more. He kicks him upside the head. Hopefully that knocks some sense into you. Please, I'm begging you. I'll give you anything you want. You should have thought about that before. Now you're mine. Blood drips from the corner of TheJeckle's mouth. You may have stopped the chameleon in his tracks, but he can't hide in the shadows forever. Flyer headbutts him, holding his head. What was that for? All the times you speak to me in that tone. You may think you're better than me, but we all know the real answer. You're a coward. Once a coward, he punches. Always a coward. You may think I'm one Flyer, but we all know I give you purpose. Wiping his face. Something you can't grasp yet. What's to understand? Even I don't understand it at times. But everyone who respects, they have you fooled. You're in this for yourself. When you need help, no one's coming. Do you get it now? I've got what you need. You've got what I need. I don't need anything from you. Very well. Now. A team of phantom mobsters lurking by. They draw their weapons. When the bullets start flying, Fearsome Flyer grabs his swords. He starts moving the blades in circular motions. Some of the bullets bounce from the blade, some from his electromagnetic armor. TheJeckle from behind his dagger, but he realizes it's of no use. Then he turns to his gun. The Flyer willingly accepts the challenge he now faces. Nothing could ever stop such a determined fighter. He accepts the burden of his shoulders. He was born to fight for what is right, and he won't rest until the wrong is corrected. A gun means nothing to him. He will fight on, even with the additional men. The men surround him at all angles. Fearsome Flyer conforms his body in every angle to dodge the bullets. He twists and turns. He ever gets pulled in the air, and tightly somersaults his way back to the ground. He does whatever he can to hide his electromagnetic force field. He is somehow forced to retreat further in the complex. From outside the fight goes on. Flyer now gripping his sword from in front of him. The sword builds with energy, before it is discharged to act as a defense mechanism. The action is repeated. Again. Again. This regains his offensive position. The phantom fighters use the fallen chairs as shield. As they reload their ammunition, Fearsome Flyer continues to put fear in his foes. TheJeckle, disturbed at the shift of confidence, angrily fire repetitively at the Flyer. This definitely grabs his attention. The sharp sounds of every shot bullet pass through the air. TheJeckle's bloody face is exposed in the night. I gave you a chance, Flyer. Your chance is expired. He dodges each bullet, but this angers the Flyer. He is pulled to TheJeckle. He bears his ground, not even scared a bit. Chuckling. What can you say? We're better than you. Flyer punches him. What's the problem? Truth hurt? Punches him. I admire your perseverance. You really should get recognized for that. Maybe a newspaper shot. Behind some bars. You're a threat to society. Flyer punches repetitively. Don't you see? The world is messed up place. They need us. It ain't gonna fix itself. We're screwed, and you can't do anything about it. You screwed yourself, Jekyll. This is a wound that can't heal overnight. You can do anything once you set your mind to it. Suzumo and Ayaka are busy perfecting fighting combat they have viewed others using. A punch is blocked by two arms altering the blow. One puts their leg in between the other's legs and knocks her opponent over. The other swiftly rises to her feet, premeditating her next move. The gears turn in her favor. Then it becomes an arm-to-arm battle. Every advancement is blocked. Ayaka battles her friend, sometimes forgetting where the next swing will come from. Suzumo accidentally hits the other's nose. She gasps, hoping her friend is not hurt. Ayaka smiles. They both giggle. They get back into a fighting stance. The fight continues. As they exchange blows, Suzumo can tell Ayaka is tiring. She tries to take it easy on her. Ayaka surprises her by kicking her side. Suzumo falls, but doesn't get up right away. She realizes her friend cannot keep fighting much longer. Let's take a break. By this time, Ayaka is panting for air. She coughs. Excuse me? I think we did good. Yeah, but I think there's more to work on. You must be a girl of perfection. I'll always be. You do know you don't have to always be so perfect. Thanks. But I always think if it isn't perfect, then why do it at all? Good point. Let's catch our breath then. Thanks for understanding. Not many take the time to. Hey, you're my friend. Friends are supposed to look out for each other. I often have a hard time accepting my challenges. We all have them. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We're fighters. We'll get through it. Now we've got to practice more, so we can show our sensei what we've learned. The two repeat the exercise. A punch is blocked by two arms altering the blow. One puts their leg in between the other's legs and knocks her opponent over. The other swiftly rises to her feet. Premeditating her next move, the gears turn in her favor. Then it becomes an arm-to-arm battle. Every advancement is blocked. Ayaka battles her friends, sometimes forgetting where the next swing will come from. As they exchange blows, Suzumo can tell Ayaka is tiring. She tries to take it easy on her. Ayaka surprises her by kicking her side. Suzumo falls, but doesn't get up right away. She realizes her friend cannot keep fighting much longer. Her friend slows down to take it easy on her. Ayaka, gasping for air, does not seem willing to give up the fight. I think we should practice the forward advance again. It starts getting confusing right there. They get ready to fight again. They fight again, this time repeating from the middle of the fight. Before hitting her opponent in the nose, Suzumo backs away, resisting the move. Instead, she stops herself about halfway to her face, making sure Ayaka is paying attention. She protects herself through the incoming hand. The battle is continued without a flaw. They both begin to master the ways of the ninja assassin. Before long, their sensei returns. I have left you long enough. A true ninja picks up on instincts. This time alone was a test to see if you have what it takes to master these skills. Yes, I do have what it takes. How about you, young one? Yes, but I have nothing to prove. I'm a humble girl, uncertain if I'm worth investing time on. Angrily, true. You have a point, and your point is well taken. Understand, though, you are in my supervision, on my time. Time is money, Ayaka. I did not pair you both up so you can fool around. I expect something more out of you. Can you do this for me?" "Yes, sensei." So, the two girls have to show their sensei what they learned. They get into a fighting position. Neither girl bows with respect to their opponent. When their sensei initiates the fight to begin, it appears almost flawless. A punch is blocked by two arms altering the blow. One puts their leg in between the other's legs and knocks her opponent over. The other swiftly rises to her feet. Premeditating her next move, the gears turn in her favor. Then, it becomes an arm-to-arm battle. Every advancement is blocked. Ayaka battles her friend. Suzumo advances toward the other's nose. The fight continues. As they exchange blows, Suzumo can tell Ayaka is tiring. She tries to take it easy on her. Ayaka surprises her by kicking her side. Suzumo and Ayaka are end fighting. Both girl tiring, gasping for air. Ayaka lets out another cough. Her heart rapidly beats. "Great job, women. Now, I know you are true fighters. Go, get some rest. Get ready for more training tomorrow night." Suzumo calls Ayaka's house in the morning, being worried about her friend. "Hello? Hi, I'm a friend of Ayaka's. I was worried about her. Is she okay? She hasn't showed up all night. You do know she has cystic fibrosis." The following night, it hit hard. Suzumo shows up to her training. Her sensei looks at her in a different, saddened way. She seems confused when looking upward to meet her sensei's eyes. "Your friend's not coming tonight. In fact, she's not coming again." Sniffing. "But why?" "Let this make you stronger, so you can stare death in the eyes." She cries, and he reaches out to caress her in his arms. The story has no ending. Robert and Cynthia now know my true identity. Will they join me in my efforts? Do they have what it takes to rise from the grave, to defy all odds? The way society is ran, the odds are against us. Society is too afraid to label my life, because I make my own rules. There are many threats to myself in society. They have their presence in North and South Huntington Beach. I pose a threat to them, and my existence runs chills up their spine. To stop them will take a team, a group effort. My worst threat is felt overseas. Suzumo poses no threat now, but it's what she's becoming now that serves a glimpse into the future. Ayaka has left a permanent imprint on her. The short time they had together has left a permanent scar on Suzumo, and this makes her the fighter she will be. As for me, I fly alone for now. There's nothing to fear, but fear itself. I'm Fearsome Flyer. This is only the beginning. His logo is once again shown. The flaming world chair ignites the screen. His two swords make two vertical lines with two horizontal lines.